you for watching Syrian Eats. Today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious eggplant recipe. It's called Maqlooba, which means I'll tell you why it's called upside down or Maqlooba. It's because in the end we flip our pot. These are our ingredients today, and I'm going to show you how to put it together. I have here 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of stew meat. And we're gonna need both for this dish. Some people make it with just the stew meat. Some people make it with the ground beef. I like to use both. I have here 3 large eggplants. We're gonna peel these and then we're gonna chop them. We're gonna slice them and then we're gonna fry them. I have here 2 large cups, and this is the cup that I use just so you can see. This equals to about 4 measuring cups. So like 4 cups, but this is, I actually use 2 glasses of these to measure out the rice. So always when you're cooking rice, for each cup of rice, you need 2 cups of liquid. So water, broth, that's the rice rule. And what we're gonna do is when we're gonna cook our stew meat, we're gonna use the beef broth to cook the Maqlooba rice. So I used 2 cups of rice, and I'm gonna need 4 cups of broth. And I add a little bit extra, usually about 4 1/4, and I'll show you when I cook that. I have here 1/2 cup of slivered almonds, 2 teaspoons of butter to saute the almonds in. I have 3/4 of an onion. I reserve the other quarter because we're gonna serve this dish with a salad. So I reserve the other quarter for salad. We're gonna need salt and allspice. I'm gonna start out by starting to cook our stew meat, which I've showed you in our previous recipes, how to cook the stew meat. And then I will show you how we're gonna slice our eggplant and fry it up. And I'm gonna wait for it to boil like I've showed you before. We're gonna take the foam layer off, and then we will add our salt and allspice and our onion. What I'm gonna do first is I'm going to peel our eggplant. I'm gonna cut off the top just like this. And then we're just gonna simply peel them. After we have peeled our eggplant, we're gonna cut it just like this thick. this is the color that we want them to be, a golden brown. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them in a strainer with a paper towel so it can strain and drain all the excess oil, because we don't need all that oil in our dish. So this is how our eggplant looks like after we have strained the oil out. Here's all the excess oil that we don't need, that we're just gonna throw away. And I'm gonna start putting this dish together, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna start our heat on medium heat. So we are going to put our eggplant just like this. And try to put the bigger pieces towards the pot, just like this. Whenever you add the rice and you want to get it covered, just poke at it in the pot. Do not mix, because we want that layer of eggplant to be on the bottom, and then the meat, and then the rice. Now after adding the rice, we're going to wait for it until it starts boiling a little bit for probably about 3 minutes, and then we will cover it up. Now more salt is optional. I just tasted the broth and it needs a little bit of salt just to my taste buds, so I added about half a teaspoon of salt. If you feel like the salt tastes good, then just keep it like it is. So we're gonna wait for it to come up to a boil, which is always about 2, and then we will cover it. Now, after I poured the rice, I kind of just moved it in a little bit, just kind of poking around just to kind of move the rice in. But you don't want to move the whole thing in because we don't want the eggplant to float up from the bottom. You want to keep it down. So I added 4 1/4 cups of the beef broth and the beef to our dish. And we're just going to wait for this to come up to a good boil. It is starting to boil up. So I'm gonna go ahead, so after 5 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and cover it up, and I'm gonna raise the heat up to high, let it come to a full boil, rolling boil, just like how we cook our rice with vermicelli. And then we're gonna reduce it to low, let it simmer for about 30 minutes, and then we will turn it off, wrap it up in a blanket, and we'll let it rest for about 15 minutes before we're gonna serve it. And while it's resting, we can saute our almonds and then finish up our salad. So it did come up to a rolling boil. I'm gonna go ahead and reduce our heat to low. And I am gonna put our timer here for 30 minutes. And we will let it cook for about 30 minutes and we'll come back and check on it. After 30 minutes, I'm not gonna open the lid. I'm gonna keep it closed. And I'm going to wrap it up with a blanket and let it set for about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and toast up our almonds and then warm up our beef, and I'll show you how we're gonna top it off. We're gonna add the ground beef, the almonds for garnishment on the top, and then serve and enjoy. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos.